and like every show in its first season, we're going to do a Christmas special. Every TV show seems to start really strong with that first year having a Christmas episode, and then most shows, The Office not included, of course, kind of goes, yeah, well, yeah, Christmas. But like the first year, you always go gung ho on Christmas episodes. And me and Virginia had maybe 45 ideas that we couldn't lock in on, to really enjoy. And then we decided let's forget the form of the show, and we're just gonna talk about Christmas and other holidays of the year, for this episode. But first, important, of course, me and Virginia do not live near each other, so this is when we decided to exchange gifts. So, Virginia, I got your whole family, your beautiful children, a wonderful trip to Disney. To get that, though, I had to sell my liver, and on the black market, of course. So I don't have a liver anymore. But it was worth it to give your amazing family a wonderful Christmas gift.
Oh, thank you. I didn't get you anything.
Oh, well.
I'm kidding. Actually, I got you a very rare bottle of whiskey.
Oh,
It's
well.
been aged 3 centuries.
Oh no.
It's supposed to be the top, but I sold the children.
Well, gift of the Magi, I guess, for both of us this year.
Well, I mean, I'll still go to Disney.
Well, there you go, and I'll.
It's a temporary thing.
Okay.
Stocking at Target, but I mean, I need that overtime pay. So
absolutely, absolutely. So kids don't. That's, you can always get more, obviously.
I'll get them back after the new year, but I heard Disney's really best during the holidays, so I'll just go when I get them back.
You gotta go.
I'll tell them about how great it was and how much they would have enjoyed it.
And incidentally, I'll be in a wheelchair for the next 6 months anyway, so that's fine.
I don't know what you're gonna do with the whiskey.
I can look at it. I can always put it on my.
Important? Yeah. Is it important for alcohol?
Yeah. That's, well, it's the way it goes. All right, so Virginia, this is your favorite time of the year. It's my fourth favorite time of the year, obviously. Arbor Day is way up there. So, what do you want to talk about first?
Okay, well, actually, I wanted to start with a small thing. Are there any Christmas specials that you watched as a kid? They could be anything from, a celebrity special to The Rankin Boss to an animated that you still watch now. And now are there any favorites? Are there any that you'll never watch now that you don't have to? Just starting with the little holiday special.
I don't think I'll ever watch The Grinch again. I don't. Yeah, I think I saw it 17 years in a row, probably. I think there's that trifecta of The Grinch, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and then the best of them, although it's not widely shown anymore, which is the Disney Scrooge special that has that short with Chip and Dale before it. But the main crux of it is Scrooge, with Scrooge McDuck in it, actually, the invention of the character. So that is probably my favorite one. I always love that story. Anytime a TV show would do the Three Ghosts, it was always fun to see who would play the ghost from the cast. More shows need to do that these days. It's kind of gone away. But yeah, I would say the Disney, like 1980s Scrooge special is probably the one that I would watch every year. Like that holds a lot of place in my heart. How about you?
Actually, we own that one. If you mean like the Mickey's Christmas Carol, my mom got a special copy, and it even had a print of like the end scene with it, and we do watch it. And then they watch all the other Disney specials, which I didn't grow up with, so I'm like, oh, they're good, and I watch that, and I do still watch the animated Grinch. I actually have my cousin's DVD copy of that because when she moved overseas, she gave me all her US DVDs.
Okay.
Actually, this year we missed. I love Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the stop motion one, and this year they didn't seem to have it, or I missed it, so that disappointed me.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, now in my life, there are certain things I love watching, which are I watch Royal Tenenbaums every year on Christmas Day, and there's still that thing in me about, CBS used to show The Wizard of Oz like 2 weeks before Christmas every year for basically our entire childhoods, and those are kind of two things that when I think of things to watch for Christmas, not specifically Christmas related. Although Royal Tenenbaums, I think the reason I'm watching Christmas, it does have the Charlie Brown Christmas Time song in it for like maybe 5 seconds. And for some reason, it makes in my mind, and it's my favorite movie I've ever saw on a Christmas day. I have this tradition where I'll see 3 or 4 movies on Christmas Day. To this day, it's my favorite one is to see Royal Tenenbaums. So I watch that every Christmas Day before I go out and watch 3 or 4 movies. More. Yeah. So.
I also have the Charlie Brown Christmas too, which is the only Peanut special I will actually watch anymore.
I watched the Halloween one. That's my favorite.
Halloween... they're so mean to him.
I enjoy that. I'm a cruel person. We know this.
Like at least the Christmas one, Lucy's like, "Hey, get some confidence, do a plane." But in the Halloween one, even the adults are giving him rocks. Like, what? Cruel, awful.
Well, it's a cruel town with a bunch of bald children. What do you expect? They clearly live next to like a lot of wires and oil tankers. It's just a weird town.
I really, even though we own it, I really don't rewatch Frosty the Snowman anymore.
Yeah, that was never one of my favorites. And then, of course, the Michael Keaton classic, Jack Frost, kind of ended all of that for everyone. Thanks, Michael Keaton.
And then, so for the celebrity ones, I started watching the Dolly Parton one that she had this year.
Oh, really?
Never finished it. But I still remember years ago. I think we were probably like middle school age, a late elementary, middle school age. She had a country Christmas one, but instead of a Dollywood, it was like she'd go to like visit the old folks' home, and they were like the most alert people you've ever seen in a retired. They're like, "Dolly, every Christmas is wonderful with you," and so I was really stoked that she kind of made, I guess, like a sequel, but I just really haven't been able to sit down and watch something in its entirety in a while.
Yeah, it's weird. To me, when I think of Christmas, because when you first brought this question, I first thought of like a celebrity in a fake house, opening the door and saying "Welcome to my house for my Christmas party." Like that to me is like that's the epicenter of that idea. And my 2 favorites, of course, the Bing Crosby with David Bowie one is just again the second time we're talking about this. It's the most surreal moment in the history of television, and just Bing, who had made at that point like 60 Christmas specials, probably being forced to having like this young mod rock star in it, and it's the most awkward conversation ever. And it's that one of them that I spoke of this before because it is something that the first time I saw it was on TV Land, and now it's in its entirety on YouTube. But it's this Judy Garland Christmas special that just goes off the rails because she's fully in her I'm trying to lose weight through this amazing drug my doctors found called speed, and she is off the and Liza's like 19. And she at one point says, it's one of those songs you old folks like. And Judy is literally pissed. Like, she doesn't remember this is in the script. She's literally mad at her daughter for like a minute.
She's like, Larsa, what?
And it's never been proven to me. I've tried to find an oral history of this thing. I've tried. But just in the middle of it, Mel Torme shows up and takes over. Like, he's now the star of the show because Mel Torme just does Christmas specials. That's what he does for a living. Like, they put him in a box of ice and then they bring him out at Christmas. At one point, Judy is like talking to the wrong camera. And Mel knows this. He just takes his finger and just does this to her head, and she just doesn't notice. It's amazing. It's the greatest special of all time. At one point, I had a friend who had a deal to do a live show in LA for Christmas. And his first thought was, Smitty could write the hell out of one of these things. And it's true. So I wrote this one, and we wanted it based on the set of 2.5 Men. Like, we're going to make the set look like it's a 2.5 Men set. And then he's just, he's just house sitting for Christmas. And it was just every trope of Christmas, like a little boy comes over that's like, his girlfriend's kid who doesn't believe in Christmas. Like, all of a sudden, this is the point of the show, is to teach this boy about Christmas. But instead, he just like pulls the kid aside and says, "Listen, if you ruin this Christmas for me and your mom, I will kill you." And it's the most, like literally like the middle of the show, like when we go to intermission, like there'd be a phone call and he'd pick up the phone. He's like, "Guys, Christmas is canceled." And like that would be like the cut to the second half. And then he goes, "Oh no, I'm sorry. No, your mom's dead." And that would be it. And it was surreal. We just got to the point, like it was going to go. And they're even talking about filming it for like one of the cable channels. And then the money fell out. It was just surreal. But I got to have all my ridiculous tropes about Christmas, because we grew up. I mean, every television show for the first, second, or third season, that Christmas episode was so paramount. Like whether it's like, whether it's I Love Lucy, where they all have fake masks and they pull them down except the real Santa Claus is there, or like the Brady Bunch, or all the 80s TV shows, Christmas was so important to those first couple of seasons that we just grew up knowing these things. There's just all these tropes that we know that modern kids don't know. And really there's only two shows I can think of the modern era that really made Christmas a priority, and that was ER and The Office. No one has ever done Christmas episodes like The Office. ER. Okay, I know we're gonna watch it for the show at some point, though. That's the joy. But like just The Office, no one did Christmas specials better than The Office. And they did them every season through the last season. And there's things in every one of them that's hilarious. Like they truly understood. It was also because, we've both worked in offices, we both worked in places where you have to have like kind of the corny Christmas party. And after you left, we threw one at the apartment that me and two coworkers shared at Borders, and it got out of control. People went to jail, and like doors were broken. It was crazy. Yeah. No, but like, it's just like,
it was like, can you talk about this?
I will talk about it on the show. I'll talk it off air. But it was just like, and then I started watching. God. Yeah, it was like, we're not gonna have Christmas parties anymore. But The Office, like, there's so many of them. There's the one where he can give bonuses to everybody, but he decides just to give himself an extra big bonus. And then there's another one where he's just dreary and he's just so angry that it's everywhere. They do Yankee Swap and all these different episodes that were just great Christmas episodes. And I think it's amazing to me that they did the same show. But Amy Poehler on Parks and Rec would have been the perfect person to just love Christmas. But they never really did the Christmas thing as well as The Office did, which is weird. But yeah, Christmas specials were such a big part of our childhood that I think it's a specific language we know, and that just modern TV shows just do. I think Community did a couple good ones as well. It's one of the shows that I truly love. But it's just it's a different world. It's just like we're off. The last regular episode of most shows, and again, we're also in the streaming era where shows just run for 10 weeks, and it's not. So it's just a different thing. It's just not as paramount as it was when we were kids.
I'm going to interject real quick because so far we've had like 3 anti-kid jokes in here.
Oh,
my kids are good. My daughter just had her 12th birthday yesterday, and we actually got to go to a Christmas party.
Yes, that was
a friend throws every year. You bring a toy, and they collect a toy drive for like the children's hospital and everything. And she got to throw snowballs in Florida.
Oh, wonderful!
And do all that. And then my other daughter just had her soccer playoffs today. I did not tell my kids the Target Overlord for stocking, so I could go on a free trip to Disney World.
Yes.
Jeff still has his liver. Everyone is happy, and they're doing.
That was a bit we wrote before the show. We do that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not all ad lib, folks. I have to admit, I'm sorry. Sometimes we make
changes in the last part, but anyways. So yes, okay. So there's the Christmas specials. You said that yours is. You also have the Judy Garland, still the Bowie. I'm gonna say something that might be not very popular. I don't really like their Little Drummer Boy song, their version.
Okay, that's totally fair.
Not it kind of like I couldn't really put because it's just like almost 2 different styles of singing. They try to make it one, and I think the closest it reminds me is the SNL skit with Kristen Wiig and Fred Armisen, where they say they have a Christmas album.
Yeah,
but it's obvious they didn't come out, so they just kind of follow each other's lead and.
Oh yeah, no.
And it wasn't until that sketch came, I'm like, that's it. That's what it's just like, oh, you started. Okay, I'll follow. And I'm like, I'm very picky about my Drummer Boy songs. And actually, I think the new kids do a very good version of it. But Nat King Cole, I'd say, does, the best and the classics and all that. Some people just put too much of their musical spin on it. And it's a very simple song. It's a little boy singing out playing his drum for the baby. Which is also a very good short.
As anyone who's worked as many years of retail, Christmas knows when that after Thanksgiving Day, when it goes to all Christmas music for the next 30 some odd days, there's only 15 Christmas songs. Like, there's thankfully, the first year when Mariah Carey came out with All I Want for Christmas, we were so overjoyed. It's a new one. Because you can't, it's just, and again, I only like one, and we're going to talk about,
It's not one that's it. You know what? We could just let's go ahead and talk about the Christmas song.
Let's hit it up.
So your one Christmas song,
Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues, which talks about drunk tanks. And just this year, again, our show has somehow hit on zeitgeist moments each month. There's something that happens but this month, the BBC said they will no longer have the lyric, "You scumbag, you maggot, you sheep lousy faggot," which is in the song. So if you listen to it now on the BBC, it cuts that word out, which again, I have no problem with that. It's not the reason I love the song. It's fine.
They don't mean the cigarette, people.
No, yes, but it's a song like
actually.
It's literally a song about two like homeless bums in New York who fall in love one Christmas. And if you watch the video, Matt Dillon plays a cop for 3 seconds. The end of the song is beautiful. Done amazingly well.
And the wife is calling him these names because he's just so like, I'm over you. But so you're saying you're kind of more of a non-traditionalist.
Yeah, again, it's not just retail. I've never liked them. Even as a child, I found there's two we're to talk about that I found particularly disgusting. As a young feminist boy that I was, which I was, Santa Baby and Baby It's Cold Outside are two of the most repugnant songs ever.
Santa Baby.
Santa Baby is it's a pedophile song. It's just it. It's just
it's the singer. What child wants?
No, she has to put on a female voice for her sugar daddy, right? She has to put on this, like, everyone who sings it like they're Shirley Temple or some child star. They all do it.
Kid does not.
Yeah, it's vile. And then worse than that is the date rape classic, "Baby It's Cold Outside," which again, first time I ever heard it was on Saturday Night Live. The hallmark of my life. Sigourney Weaver sang it with is it Buster Poindexter? Yes. They sang it together, and I'm like, wait, why is there something in her drink? Like, what's going on here? It's a vile song. And it's on there's only 15 of these songs. Every artist for that payday will do the Christmas album. And then they realize, there's only 14 of these songs. And the only cover of my favorite Christmas song is on the greatest Christmas special of all time, the Bill Murray Christmas. And again, he's right now he's Me Too'd, of course, right now, which was not a shock to anyone. No shock to anyone that Bill Murray was Me Too'd. No one is shocked by this fact. As soon as we started this, I was like, Bill Murray is going to get taken by this. I can tell. But he did an amazing Christmas special with the band Phoenix and Jenny Lewis and Maya Rudolph and all these people. And the last thing before he kind of goes into this weird George Clooney world is he sang Fairy Tale of New York. And it's an unbelievably great condition. The fact that I think Netflix realized they couldn't afford to keep that on Netflix because of the music rights, were just gigantic. So you can't get it anywhere. It's not on Netflix. It's not on YouTube.
When it first came out, and they still have the Vanity Fair magazine issue that has the article. Because I was doing a thing for a bit, right? I used to subscribe to Vanity Fair, then I don't subscribe to any magazines anymore. But I'd always buy the December one because it used to be like their big issue, but not so much. With my Christmas songs are different because, like I said, I am a Santa Baby apologist. I think the whole thing was started with Eartha Kitt being Eartha Kitt and trying to be like, I need to get some bigger presents out of the old guy. Or I don't know why I gave her this Mae West voice. I can't do Eartha Kitt. So the worst one is Madonna's because she does kind of do the thing you're describing, like trying to do this bit, and it's grating. I can't stand it. I fast forward. There's also one that's like a whole hip hop one. It has like Run DMC and Salt and Pepper and Snoop Dogg and Onyx, and I like that one.
Yes.
Baby It's Cold Outside. I know that they're like, well, when they wrote it, a woman wasn't supposed to stay at a man's house, so she's trying to make excuses. It doesn't age well. I prefer Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, which uses the same message, but has aged better, I would say. It's still the whole thing is like, hey, come on, stay over. But it's like, oh, well, it's snowing. Come on, let's just stay here and put on a thing. And it doesn't have that, factor of she sounds like she wants to go. Why aren't you letting her go, sir?
The house. Yeah. But okay, with Let It Snow and every other Christmas song ever, again, we would hear these songs 12, 13 times a day at Borders.
It doesn't bother me though, because I grew up loving Christmas music. So
but
the
there's
ones
so
I really
like,
don't
let it snow, let
like.
it snow, let it snow. There's 15 lyrics, and they just keep singing "Let It Snow." And then if you get a real like, Christine Chenoweth type singer, that last time going through "Let It Snow" is an hour, and it's just like it's longer and longer.
I don't like when people try to do it like, let me
Right.
show you how many bridges I can hit or whatever. But I do not like. I hate Last Christmas. That is one, and it's so funny because I'll get such a laugh if it'll come on the radio. So I'm like, oh, let's turn it up. And he'll just look and I'm like, I've never liked it. I'm not a huge Wham fan. It's nothing against George. I like George Michael's solo career.
Right.
I'm not saying they're horrible. They're just not my thing. I've just never enjoyed any of their hit music, and I'm not going to go and seek out their lesser known hits. I have no interest in it. I don't need anyone trying to tell me. And
well, George Michael is a part of another. George Michael is part of yet another. Chris, and this is a true story between me and Virginia, where I was telling her about this song and she didn't know what I was talking about, so I sent her the video, which is "Feed the World," let them know it's Christmas time, and the reaction I got back.
It's called because you gave it. Yeah, it's "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?"
Yeah.
And I do know that song because I worked at Wet Steel. We had a holiday laser disc, and we had that song, and we had the Wilson sisters singing "Hey Santa," and I don't remember any of the rest except that I would rather hear "Hey Santa" than that song. That inaccurate, patronizing song.
There are some amazing moments in that video because first off, like, also with like "We Are the World," there was definitely a lot of politicking behind the scenes. Saying what lyric, like who gets to do what, and you also have like Phil Collins playing the drums at the beginning for no reason. But then like the first real belt, like there's these guys are all, and then Bud goes, "That's mine. If I'm here, I'm doing that." And then like all of a sudden there's these like limos. It's all limos, by the way. Everyone's showing up for this charity song thing that Bob Geldof pulled off. It's all like Bananarama shows up, like all. And then there's like I don't know who that is.
Literally something up my alley. Like I liked "We Are the World," and when we had that whole the Desert Storm song that like Will Smith was on and all them, and I was like in sixth grade, but I guess it's just they're like, will Africa even know it's Christmas time? It doesn't even snow there, and they're so poor. And I'm like, okay, first of all, thanks to missionaries and colonization, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Christmas is.
Right. Yeah.
And that is inaccurate on the weather. It's not some big, huge
thanks to
jungle.
Christian propaganda throughout the world. They certainly do. But it's just, it's one of those.
The tune is gorgeous and everything, but I don't know. I just.
Yeah, but really, but it's all these
condescending to me.
Again, like as much as Mariah Carey.
Oh, it doesn't snow in Florida. No one's like, oh no, do you even know what Christmas is?
Yeah, I really hit a Wet Seal nerve with this one. This is a real, but as much as we make fun of Mariah Carey's song now, it really is. They actually wrote an actual good Christmas song after 1945. Like again, because you have Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time, which is the worst. I mean, it is the worst of them.
Fan of that either.
It's the worst. But like it's just again, if you work retail for any number of years, you know that the November 20th, like when the Tom Hanks animated movie, the Polar Express. Like we were so excited. We were so excited.
I have a lot of Christmas.
Like that's when that soundtrack came out. We were so like, I don't care if it's bad. It's 12 new songs.
Okay, but you know what? So, have you heard the Ramones Christmas song?
Yes.
Do you like that?
Yeah. No. It's the Pogues. Because it's still all the rest of them have to do with like just let's remember it's Christmas. No one's ever forgotten it's Christmas. Like why are all these songs like
I don't want to fight tonight with you? It's like the opposite of fairy tale. It's like no, let's not. Come on.
No, I want to see it.
Depressing.
There's nothing like seeing a couple out at Christmas time who are clearly about to break up, but they both still want to get like one more gift. So like we'll break up the 26th. Let's just get through this. Okay, and you see the Christmas parties all the time. That's what I love about that song. But also the end of it when they get into the whole, and the bells are ringing on Christmas Day. It's a beautiful song. It's just, it is. And like I said, it doesn't hit those because they're all so repetitive. But
Joy to the World.
No.
There's a fight in there.
I just can't. I want my toxic couple. I really do. I want that. I want the toxicity of it, and then at the end they just. But at the end, but it's so toxic because again, like all great toxic couples, at the end they go, but you know what? I still love you. Like it's the best part. Like a great comic has this joke about the only way a Irish husband will ever tell his wife he loves her, he'll say, I love you, like that. Like it's not even it's not a full reaction. So it's just so great. It's just like that's why I love about the song. But yeah, I think part of it I was never like it's something about Christmas. Even as a kid, when my mom was like, "All right, we're putting up the Christmas tree. Let's play Christmas music." I'm like, there's not one good Christmas song.
I am your mother, and I love Christmas music. I love Sunday at Christmas.
Yeah.
I love all the church hymn ones. I used to play that on my violin. I like it. I like songs. There's such a message of hope and cheer and fun.
So the exact opposite of this. The exact opposite of what next, which we're kind of round everything out with, is as cynical as I am about a lot of things, and as awful as I am about a lot of things about Christmas, the 1947 Miracle on 34th Street is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. It is, and there are people in my life who don't understand how could the Dark Lord Prince that I am love this movie. And it's like, first and foremost, okay, I get Macaulay Culkin, I get every other child star ever. There's never been a better child star in a movie than Natalie Woods in this movie.
She's so good.
That
movie is perfect. From its opening, right in the action, right at the parade. So like the only thing it keeps going. It's not quiet. It's not.
The only thing I wish that movie had, I wish there was just one scene with the scumbag ass husband. I want to meet this guy because he did such a number on her. Maureen O'Hara is so damaged by whoever this guy was. She's like, not only do I no longer believe in fairy tale love, my daughter can't believe in fairy tales whatsoever. Like, he did such a number on this woman that literally there's no giants.
You don't meet him is because he's probably just I'm going out for cigarettes.
I would, if he was the other attorney.
3 weeks after the baby was born.
Like if he was the other attorney, it'd be my favorite movie of all time. If he just happened to be the
prosecutor. Would have been. I don't know. That sounds like a John Hughes thing.
It's like, oh, hello, Maureen.
I can't even finish his version.
Oh, it's just the best. But again, it's I showed it to my drama class just because I said, listen, if you want to see a child actor act, it is Natalie Woods in this movie. And the other thing I love about this movie, and every time I show it to someone new, I have this conversation with them. Because, again, it's my favorite one. He's not Santa Claus. Like, he's not. He's just a guy it's great that he believes it. And it's great that he makes things happen for people in a nice way so that the world keeps going. But he is a crazy person who thinks he's Santa Claus. You can believe the house. It's good. He planned the route. He said, "Here's the route home," and the exact house that she thought of is on the route home. That's not magic. That's just good planning. Like, again, he's an amazing person.
Huh? Did you think it was his house?
No. He just talked to a real estate agent and said, like, I'm looking for a house like this in this area. And he said, I have 7 of them. This is the 40s, and you could buy a house for $3,000, unlike today. Everyone bought houses back then. It was just like, here's spare change for my car. And he planned the route home. He's like, listen, you don't want to go there. Yeah. And he clearly was in the house because the cane's there. And they're like, did you think? No, he just went in the house to look at it. That's all. Like, if people want to believe he's Santa Claus, that's fine. I think it's a better movie if he's just a nice, crazy person. There's nice, crazy people that exist. Yeah. It's great. But again, he's amazing in it. Maureen O'Hara is gorgeous. It's the prettiest Maureen O'Hara has ever looked in a movie. except maybe The Quiet Man. She is stunning. Everyone else in the movie is great. The guy who plays the head of Macy's is everyone in that movie is fantastic.
Judge and his family and then his wife.
Then Mertz.
The little grandkids are like.
Yeah, Mertz is in the movie.
I don't blame you.
I Love Lucy. It's just every great character actor of the 40s was in this movie because it was great and it has a good message to it. And again, to me is the greatest performance by a child. And then she goes on to have this career. And again, she's in The Searchers. She's in, Rebel Without a Cause. She has this amazing career. And there's very few of the child actors at the time that could touch her. And again, I'm still waiting for the third Fanning sister to show up out of nowhere. By the way, there's a third one. This is now only 11 and she's amazing. I think it's the Fannings, her and Macaulay Culkin, the greatest child stars.
Really good.
And then and Jodie Foster, although I still think Jodie Foster is a teenage actress, never a child actress. But her performance, and it's a scene that tears me up. Again, I can't help when he talks to that girl in Swedish.
Yeah.
And again, they mess it up in the remake. They mess it up so hard by making it sign language.
Actually, I did. That's one of the things I didn't mind. And I'll say something. Okay, so I was excited because Thelma Ritter is in the original. And years ago, before I, Tonya came out or anything, I remember I was texting with Walter, and I was like, I feel like Allison Janney is going to get her own Thelma Ritter type thing on TCM one day. And she hadn't been doing a lot. I don't even know if Mom had started yet.
No.
And he's like, what in the world he's like, well, that'd be great, but what would she be in? So far, we only have a few things, and she's not a big role. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing. Thelma Ritter was always the character. And I feel like Allison Janney is kind of the Thelma. So to have her, she wasn't the mom, but she had the other line that, I'm doing my shopping here now. And I was like, did I call it? Okay, keep in mind, I have never seen the 1994 version. I just started watching it this week. And honestly, I didn't finish it. I was very bored by it. It starts bad. I was so disappointed. It's like The Family Stone. It's got a cast I love, but I'm like, I can't get into this. I like Marvelous. I like Dylan McDermott. I like, I was so stoked to see, I'm my girl Allison Janney. This is for 2 seconds, but I'm like, they just really ruined that movie. I was trying to tell my mom about it. And I'm like, it's like you're giving gold, and you're like, thanks. I'm just gonna turn it into aluminum foil now. Thank you. I'm like, what are you doing? And Richard Attenborough, and I'm like, I am so disappointed. I cannot.
Yeah. And
again, I like all these actors, but maybe someone should have just told John Hughes sometimes, just because you can, maybe you shouldn't. Especially when Macy's themselves are going, we're okay. You don't need to put us in that.
I love that you mentioned Thelma Ritter because again, we're two people in the world that will talk about her because there's these certain character actors from the 40s and 50s. Before they say a word, you know exactly what the point of their character is. There's Thelma Ritter has never come onto a scene where she's happy about it.
Yeah.
She's always the overworked, housekeeper or the overworked. She's never not been overworked in her life.
Person, the Misfits, and then I'm like, is she not showing up for? Okay, I'm losing interest again. And again, great. But I'm like, if Thelma Ritter is in a scene, I will sit down and watch it. No, I don't even care for the movie. I adore her.
But again, I cannot get to the scene where that little girl's face lights up because he knows Swedish. I can't do it. I cry.
It was sweet too because she's
every time
post-war child, right?
Yeah.
She's a refugee, so it's she's seriously all alone.
Yeah, she's and she just gets
orphanage
this, and she knew that
family.
Yeah, she knows this Santa Claus is gonna kill us. He does, and okay, is that the one thing in the movie where I go, maybe he is Santa Claus, maybe maybe he just knows Swedish, I don't know. But again, my top 5 Christmases of all time go in this order. Again, it's not even close. Number 1 is so far everyone else. It's the 1947 Miracle on 34th Street. It's the best. Number 2 is the Bill Murray classic Scrooged. Number 3, It's a Wonderful Life. 4, Elf. 5, A Christmas Story. So I think those are my 5. And probably Bad Santa would be 6, just because I'm happy that movie exists for me. But
well, mine's hard because I have the ones I watch with the family that I'm like, we have to watch these, and then the ones that I'll watch with Al or by myself or something. So again, Miracle on 34th Street, loved. that's a family. Scrooge, I do not watch with the kids yet because I don't want to sit there and explain everything. And I can never remember. Every year I started not remembering what the language or any jokes are, but I know it's from the 80s, so I'm going to have to be careful. Christmas Story and Home Alone are the three of the kids ones. And then Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Right.
And I'm trying to think. Well, actually, and then one, and this isn't a movie, but when I was a kid, as soon as it came out, we always made sure to watch, and I think we even had it recorded, was the very first Simpsons Christmas when they get Santa's Little Helper.
First ever episode of the show that aired, the first episode that was shot was
book. Yeah. With the pop-up and everything.
It's great. Yeah, no, but
and let me think. I love, for the adults, I do like Elf too. But it's like there's a lot of Elf. And Scrooge, I said. I like Four Christmases.
Right.
And I'm gonna have to think about some of the more of the adult ones, because I jump back. Oh, there's one that's a family one, but really no one likes to watch it but me, and it's like a Hallmark one or a Lifetime. It's the Mistletoes, and it's, I think, Tia Mowry and Tori Spelling are competitive singing carolers.
Oh.
Yeah. It's cheesy, and it's it's got this rivalry, and it's just fun. And I'm sure there's two more, and I will think of them later in the show. I just can't. But I know you're probably expecting me to say Die Hard.
How dare you? How dare you? I have a hard time with Home Alone. Again, I know Home Alone is a Christmas movie, but if there's no real Santa element to it, I find I have a problem with. There's got to be something Santa-y in it. And well, yes, the neighbor looks like Santa Claus. I get that. There's some of that movie where I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with Gremlins for now. If someone says Gremlins is,
it's considered a Christmas
movie.
I just thought of another one. White Christmas.
Oh, it's a great one. Yeah.
Yes, that was the one. I'm like, I know there's one I just watched.
Great music. Rosemary Clooney's. Again, if you ever want to explain to people why Rosemary Clooney was a star, show them that movie. She's never been better looking than in that movie. Again, an amazing singer.
Saturday Night Live just actually had a sketch where they were doing. It was when C. Martin and Martin Short were hosting, so like a week or two ago, with the snow song when they're riding on the train to New Hampshire. So, and it's very, but it's funny though, because people there, you could see people who never watch it in like the comments, because they're like, I don't understand why they did this. I'm like, well, this is the movie. Like, oh, well, how am I supposed to know? And I'm like, it's on Netflix, y'all. Like, do you not go to Netflix holidays?
It's amazing to me, because the holidays is another one that's kind of a recent classic, kind of along with Elf. I think it's the same 2-year period where Elf and the holidays came out. Of course, my biggest problem with the holidays is that the beautiful Cameron Diaz gets Jude Law, and the almost as beautiful Kate Winslet ends up with Jack Black, and that just seems unfair on a lot of levels. That, like,
I get what you're saying, because no one would be like, Jack Black is equal in looks and suave to Jude Law.
Yes,
but
no, he's probably a better boyfriend.
And he's charming and fun, and
he's a downer. He's a downer movie. Like, he's mad about like girls not liking him. He's like telling Kate Winslet, like, why don't hot girls like me? To Kate Winslet's majestic face. Like, how dare you? It's Kate Winslet. You should be like, oh, the moment you see Kate Winslet, Jack Black, you should be like, forget everyone. This is Kate Winslet. What am I doing? But like, they treat her like. They treat her like.
I meant Jack Black as a person. I wasn't thinking of the character that he.
Just
played,
like,
so that's on me.
Oh, a gorgeous woman with red hair. Why don't pretty women like me? And she's right. Like, how dare you? But
I get that, because she's got a gorgeous face.
The thing that makes of my 5, the one
voice.
Yeah, I think Elf is very smart. Is that it runs. One of the interesting things the director said is we wanted it to be like Tootsie. That was like one of the major films we looked at. It's a brilliant way to go, where it's just let everyone else kind of have these beautiful big moments, and it's the least obstructive performance of Will Ferrell's career. He's like Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street. Everything's happening around him. Like there's only, yes, he has a sugar thing. Yes, there's a scene where he just screams, I know him," which is great. Bob Newhart as an elf is just one of the all-time moves. Again, yes,
excellent. I have actually watched Elf already, and I will probably be watching it again. So I would have to put that at least at 6. Then
I've always wondered if because it's a Wonderful Life is one of those movies where I love the first half, and then once there again, it creates alternate realities.
That's the other one that goes in my grown-up one because no one else wants to watch it because I cried through most of the movie.
It's just, I always wondered if maybe like if this that second alternate again it basically invented an idea of alternate realities in movies. It was like the first one, then comic books ran with it and all that stuff. But it's really it doesn't get the credit for having this amazing idea where it's a Christmas idea, but it can be an anytime idea where someone doesn't think their life is worth it. And just like, everything about that movie is great. Like it's one of Jimmy Stewart's greatest performances. He's so unhinged. And again, what makes him a great actor is that when he goes unhinged, it's the scariest thing in the world. Like if you've ever seen Winchester 57, which is one of his great Westerns, he just walks into a bar and he takes a guy's head and he smashes it into the Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, just smashing a guy's head into a bar. It's just it's unbelievable. And just him in that movie. And just everything he does in that movie is amazing. It's one of his best performances. And again, most of the time I just watch up until he thinks about killing himself, and then I stop watching. I don't need to watch the Dark World.
I like to see when they go to the bar and the bartender thinks Clarence is being a wise guy. No one recognizes. He's like, "Why do you keep talking to me like you know me?" And
I just don't want to see Donna Reed almost sexually assaulted. I don't. In the second half.
I mean, I don't think anyone does.
Well, I bet there's someone.
Okay, well, I don't know them, and I don't wish to.
I'm glad.
I'm like, well, I'm not looking for. I'm not like that's my favorite. She's a little mousy librarian here with an essay. Like, no one wants that.
The best. But again, and we were talking about SNL. We both wanted to talk about our favorite SNL sketches. The best one they ever did was on It's a Wonderful Life, where it's the alternate ending, where they all beat the crap out of Potter. The entire time just takes turns. It's John Lovitz playing him, and again, the great Phil Hartman, there's never been anyone better on that show than Phil Hartman. He does the best uncle. His uncle is it's the exact character, and then they just all just beat the living crap out of Potter at the end. Because that's the thing with that movie. That's also, by the way, the uncle causes the problems.
Yeah,
because
he's the whole movie.
The whole
movie. You're just like,
So, but
down.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the real It's a Wonderful Life, there's no repercussions for Potter stealing that money. Like there's nothing happens to him. He just gets to steal money. So that
what he's like. I mean, realistically, probably nothing would happen to him. And I like because it's all the community coming together and supporting and showing your life with it. But yeah, in real life, that we've seen that happen. Like
I think to
we had the whole housing crisis and the banks got bailed out, but they're the ones who caused it.
But I think in a small town like that, I think Sheriff O'Malley or whoever would go over to Potter's house and do some low-level street justice to get that money back. I'm just saying, like in little towns like that, I think. It just goes then little girl again. Not again. If it was Natalie Wood, that would be great, but it's not. It's some other little annoying girl who says every time an angel, she's annoying.
She's the whole movie. She's
but But also that's also a Christmas movie where literally he scares the crap out of her before the phone call. Like she is literally terrified of him in that scene for a few moments. And then they get on the phone, they talk to Charlie, and then they fall in love after it's such a strange it's Capper and Stewart, and when Capper and Stewart together, a couple weird things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about that duo. And again, Jimmy Stewart, I do think people just don't. If you've never seen Vertigo, if you've never seen his Westerns, you don't understand what an absolute psychopath this man can be. I think we all think of him as this movie and kind of like the stuttering, he's a giant, he's a super tall psychopath. Like when we get to Hitchcock at some point, there's a beautiful thing about how he uses leading men, because North by Northwest should be the most terrifying movie he ever made. But it's fun. You're never scared because Cary Grant doesn't give a shit. At no point in that movie is he scared. Like people are grabbing him, putting him in the car. People are grabbing him, putting him in the cars, and like mistaken identities. He's like being chased after. If Jimmy Stewart was in the scene where the plane was chasing after him, it'd have been terrifying. Yeah, but because it's Cary Grant, you don't care. It's like he's gonna be fine. He's Cary Grant because Cary Grant is just so blasé. But if you switch those two, if you put Cary Grant in Vertigo, it would not be, as the British recently said, the second greatest movie of all time, and I believe it's a top 10 movie of all time.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a character.
And if you put him in North by Northwest, it's a terrifying movie. Martin Landau gets 10 times scarier if he's doing that to a psychopath, Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is so misunderstood because his best work is when he's being a raving lunatic. That scene, like they show it from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that's insane behavior. Like you're not gonna see it. He's so good at that stuff, and that's what.
Like Andy Griffith in that way. Like everyone remembers Andy Griffith from, playing the sheriff and Matlock, but he has played some very frightening villain roles.
Oh no, they were also.
But no one thinks like so. Like, oh, waitress. Like maybe other people are like, yeah, when he's eating the pie all the time. It's like
facing the crowd.
Don't be fooled. Yeah.
He's scary to facing the crowd is that he's manipulative in facing the crowd, and that was what his character kind of was when he was doing his comedy act. Was this like Southern manipulative, like the fact that he never got to play the Music Man is a little odd to me. I think he would have been an amazing Music Man.
I never thought about that.
To me, like his like Southern, it'd been different. But again, that's like one of my 4 favorite parts. Is that part?
Great. That was my dad's favorite musical. He actually liked it more than Singing in the Rain, which is my favorite.
It's what I love about.
This is way better. He's like, it's all original, and the storyline. Oh
yeah, but it's also about a con man who's ripped off like 15 towns.
Yeah,
like he's a horrible person.
It's a Holman family favorite. I mean, we love us like a con and a heist.
I love that's at some point we're gonna have to do con men movies because Matchstick Men and.
I love heist movies. That would be fine. I don't know how it would work because they're ongoing. We'd have to pick like someone who's known for making it. I guess that I was thinking a while ago. That's something we'll have to work on. Yeah,
you too, folks. Look forward to it.
So my for SNL, okay, I wasn't a big Jimmy Fallon one because he breaks all the time.
Yes.
On SNL, he's very freaking that day, but I always loved the music one they did with Tracy Morgan.
Oh yeah.
I wish it was Christmas because it's just so almost Dadaist in it. It's just okay, and you dance and you just do this like the kid from Charlie Brown and all that. And I like a lot of the newer ones. I love that. If you haven't seen the December to Remember SNL sketch, absolutely brilliant. I post it every year on my Facebook page.
There is an amazing one that Steve Martin did in '88, where it's just his
Christmas wish.
If he had one Christmas wish, and he starts with "It'd be world peace," and then he starts
wait.
And then he gets into all this real manipulative shit, just like awful. But then, of course, the world peace.
Crap about
the world peace.
Yeah.
And then the same era was the one I was saying about earlier, which is Hanukkah Harry, which is again, this is the Christmas season. Happy Kwanzaa and Happy Hanukkah, myself included, since I do have 3 Jewish nieces and nephews and a Jewish sister for that matter, and brother-in-law. He didn't make them all go Jewish just because he thought it'd be funny. He is Jewish. So Hanukkah Harry, the John Lovitz classic. If you've never seen it, please look it up.
That I remember.
It is my first year in South Florida where I was introduced to Jewish people. I went to many a bar mitzvah in this period of time, and it showed like that. Because as a Christian child, the first time you hear that Hanukkah's 8 nights and Christmas is only one, you're like, this is a ripoff. And then Hanukkah Harry really gets into the fact that not every night is as good as Christmas. Some nights you just get a dreidel and some gold coins. So that's what the sketch is about. Santa Claus is sick, so Hanukkah Harry takes over, and he gives people like slacks he'll grow into, and like wool socks and stuff. It's an amazing sketch. Okay, there's certain things about TV zeitgeist of Christmas, and again, it is the most important holiday, and it's the one that I think we all take the most seriously. And it is one that has basically a whole month, whereas every other holiday has the day, maybe two. When you're in college, maybe you'll do Halloween for 3 days, sometimes. But Christmas is, of course, it is the ultimate holiday. And 2 months, we'll be celebrating Valentine's Day with the most toxic couple in the history of Hollywood. We'll be doing the great Burton and Taylor love affair for the month of February. And I'm very excited for that. One of their movies is my favorite movie of all time. So we'll get to talk about that. And then next month we are doing the show. Yes. Yes. We're doing 3. We're cheating a little bit. We're actually doing 3 of their films. We're doing their first, their best, and their last. Not counting the TV movie they did. We're not counting that. And then next month we're doing Designing Women.
About them. Yes.
So
looking very forward to that.
Very forward to that. We're planning ahead.
So quotable. It's got my gal Delta Burke in it, and I actually read her Delta style. My grandmother owned a copy, and she is I believe a Florida.
Yes, she was Miss Florida.
Yeah.
So that's what to look forward to for the next 2 months, guys. Go ahead and watch the first and last episode of Designing Women. You'll see a very different cast. Oh.
Christmas Carol. You said yours is of Mickey's? Is that the one you
like, right?
Yes,
that's the one I love more than anything, yes.
Okay. I'll also recommend for anyone the Alastair Sim, the old, it's like 1938. It's the quality is usually pretty low. It's hard to find a remastered one. Maybe they've done the past 10 years, but it is a classic and told very well. And the Muppet Christmas Carol is also good because Michael Caine plays it as a straight role.
There's
no any sillier than the Muppets, and you can catch that on Disney Plus, I think. So
yeah, I really think he filmed that whole movie with actual people, and they just put in the Muppets acting. He had no idea it was Muppets. Also, George C. Scott is an amazing Scrooge as well in his version. George C. Scott is an amazing Scrooge. But yes, check that out. So again, next month we'll be Designing Women. The month after that, the great Burton Taylor love affair will be what we're doing. I hope everyone who watches this, and I hope Virginia and her family have an amazing Christmas and a wonderful New Year.
And have I believe Hanukkah starts tomorrow, so happy Hanukkah for our friends. Sorry we didn't speak more of it. We don't know a lot about it.
There's not a lot of 8 crazy days.
I only know 8 crazy nights and the Darlene Love song that they did for
That's it.
But I'm sure there are some, and if you know any, please let us know, and we can watch
them. We will watch them. So
we will.
Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye.
There we go.